Hello and welcome to the Lost Pines Workshop. I'm JC Jensen. So this is episode 2.1 of the Beginning Woodworking series. Episode 2 was design and how to put it on paper. I wasn't real pleased with that episode, so I came up with 2.1. We're going to back up just a little bit. This is the Beginning Woodworking series. So what is woodworking? What are woodworkers? Who are they? Well, woodworkers are folks that utilize their hands, their tools, and their knowledge to create functional wood products, whether that is cabinetry or furniture or musical instruments, various and sundry other wood products. We're manipulating the wood into a shape that provides a utility or artistic impression. When we talk about woodworking, we've been doing this for hundreds of years, thousands of years. In modern times, or fairly modern times, who were our woodworkers? We're going to dig into that just briefly, to give you a brief history. Back as far as, well, let's just say 1600, we'll just start kind of that time frame. Woodworkers were primarily folks that were making either furniture pieces or cabinetry for the wealthy. So what's cabinetry? Well, cabinetry is nothing more. It's a box shaped piece of furniture with doors and or drawers, and it's used to store miscellaneous stuff. Some cabinets have shelves, some cabinets stand alone, some are built in, and some are attached to the wall. They're typically made out of wood, either solid or veneers. We have several types of cabinets. A chest of drawers is considered a cabinet. Some nightstands and night tables, wardrobes or armoires, modern kitchen cabinets. That's what we think of today. So cabinetry is the art of creating storage containers that are as beautiful in design and appearance as they are in function. These artists back in the day were cabinet makers. Well, today woodworking woodworkers are more specialized, primarily here in the United States. We have folks that make cabinets. We have folks that make furniture. We have folks that make musical instruments. We have folks like me that just make whatever they want. Falls into all of those categories. But here in the United States, from an industrial perspective, a lot of woodworkers are specialized. So let's dig into a little history. So before the Industrial Revolution, which is like 1768, 1840-ish, our cabinet makers, as I was talking about before, were commissioned. And they were commissioned by the wealthy to produce most pieces of fine furniture. The average person didn't need it or just couldn't afford it. The most famous cabinet maker of the period was Andre Charles Buell. He worked from 1642 to 1732. His legacy is known as Buell Work. And a college of fine arts and crafts in Paris was even named after this gentleman. With the advent of mass production techniques later on, in the early 1800s, traditional cabinet shops ceased to be the primary source of furniture. Coupled with a growing middle class, the demand for fine furniture grew, as did the need for more cabinet makers. By the late 19th century, the demand for furniture spread across Europe, the UK, and the United States. In the late 19th century, also known as the arts and crafts movement period, this spurred the demand for more traditional style cabinet makers. After World War II, woodworking became a very popular hobby, where many of the middle class folks became quite skilled craftsmen. So there's you a little bit of history on where we started versus where we are today and who is kind of doing what. So in all of that, you as a beginning woodworker need to kind of determine which path you would like to follow. Going back to episode 2 where we were talking about style, here in just a moment I will show you some pictures and we'll discuss some style. So let's look at some styles. First up, we have a Scandinavian kitchen. Notice the very clean lines with no ornamentation. The focus is on the materials and the utility of the piece. Here we see French Provincial, 2-drawer chest of drawers. The corners and bevels are often covered with gold leaf, and flat surfaces were often painted with artwork. This is an example of an American colonial chest of drawers. Focus was on design and materials. This style often saw the heavy use of spindles and steam-bent woods, mostly hardwoods, particularly fruit woods. Rustic style. Mostly utilitarian, meaning it's designed for basic function. Utilizes a more natural state of the materials or log forms, mostly made from softwood such as pine, cedar, and spruce. This is mission style, designed with very thick lines, flat panels, made mostly of oak and often colored by a fuming process. You'll have to look that up. Black iron hardware is often mounted on the outside of pieces as a decorative element. Here's an oriental piece, produced mostly of bamboo or rattan, often painted with landscape art or language characters. And lastly, we have the shaker style. The shaker's focused on function, symmetry, and efficient use of materials. Most often utilize fruit woods, such as cherry or walnut. This is an Indian head spinning wheel. I was given the top piece called a flyer and needed to design and create a functional base that represented the old pedal style Singer sewing machine. And this is what I came up with. This is a steamer trunk that I modeled off of a steamer trunk that we inherited that was dated back to the late 1800s. The box itself is made of cherry with a coopered top. The banding done in walnut is representative of the metal banding on the original trunk that was often done in brass or mild steel. I built the latch on the front out of wood, obviously, in walnut, as well as the handles on the side. On the back, for the lid, I also incorporated wooden hinges. A very fun piece to put together. And so there you have it. When it comes to design, primarily think about its utility. What's its intended purpose or use? Think about style. Do we want simple or do we want very extravagant? And then lastly, proportions of your piece. Are your proportions from one piece or one component proportionately equal or balanced with the other pieces? Take all of that to heart and apply it as you see fit. When it comes to woodworking, whether it's in cabinetry or furniture or musical instruments or anything else that you have a desire to make, your creativity is what makes it your own. Have fun with it. I hope this video helped. If you have interest in styles and further detailed designs, I'd encourage you to perhaps, think about taking an art history class at your local community college, or just do the research through Google. There's lots of information on classic styles that can be followed. Have fun. We'll see you down the road. Thanks for joining me.